Hello everybody and welcome back to my F1 22 career mode. We are now here at Sao Paulo for the Brazilian Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the last one, I urge you to go and check that one out. Before you come back to this one, this is your last chance to do so before spoilers. Well, Mexico, that was messy, wasn't it? But we're now heading into the last two races of the first season and we're doing them here at Brazil, the first of the last two. And we're doing Pirelli hot laps, which you've got to say is an enjoyable feature for the new game, as it helps build cash, which obviously in the first season is very, very scarce. So I'm glad we've got that, but now it's time to qualify, and boy, are we looking to end this season on a high. We've had some good moments, we've had some great moments, but we've also had a lot of difficulties, so I'm hoping we can end on a high note anyway. And this is Q1, we're doing our best to get out of it, although that line in particular isn't doing me very many favours. Mick Schumacher sets the bar with a 1 to 10, so I think that bar is just going to drop as Hamilton now does a 108. Realistically, we want an early 109, I think, or a late 108 to get us through. What have we done? It's a mid-9, that's not really good enough. We're either in early 9 or at the late 8. So what are we going to do here? Are we improving? Not so far in the second lap, but that last run out of Yung Shao was better, but it's still not an improvement. And as you can see, we're currently in P16. That's not going to be enough to really improve, and we don't improve. And in the end, it wasn't enough. We ended up P19. Like I said, we needed a very low 9 or a high 8. We didn't get either of those. But we've got a sprint and we've got a full Grand Prix ahead of us. So I am not too disheartened at this stage.
So it is all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Norris, Carlos Sainz, and Verstappen, Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso, Perez, and Esteban Ocon, Bottas, Magnussen, Sebastian Vettel, and Tsunoda, Albon, Joe, Pierre Gasly, and Lance Stroll, Joker, Liam Lawson, Mick Schumacher, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out. Here we go then, the formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint. As all the cars take their positions on the grid, the final preparations have been made. All that's left is for the drivers to deliver on track.
Right, we're getting ready for the sprint race here at this Brazilian Grand Prix. We will have 12 laps to try and gain some places, and that's what these sprints are about. Just trying to gain a few more places on my grid slot because I'm not entirely happy with it. And I think that's Liam Lawson right behind me as well, so I think he's going to want to move up. I've gone with soft tyres for the sprint. I just want to go all attack on the first few laps, gain what I can, and then hopefully we'll be in a better position for the race. It's lights out and away we go then for the third and final sprint race of this season. We've got a relatively decent start. Stroll sticking around on the outside. I've made my way to the inside now though, and we have gained quite a few places there. We're up into P14, and I think Vettel was trying to fight me hard. In fact, Tsunoda's going around my outside, and Tsunoda is actually ahead of me now. So Tsunoda's ahead. I'm going to go to the outside, get back ahead of him. That was some late avoiding action there because Tsunoda seemed to brake quite early. But in the meantime, we're now hunting down Sebastian Vettel and Kevin Magnussen. And while we've got the advantage of these stock tyres, we may as well use them, because by halfway through this sprint, I guarantee you these are going to fall off the cliff quite nasty. So trying to go around the outside of Sebastian Vettel there, that is an ambitious move that won't work. But now we're going to go down the inside here. And we have indeed got Sebastian Vettel. We have moved up into P13. Next up is Kevin Magnussen, dead ahead of us in P12. If we're going to be able to have a look into Jung Chao, answer no. We've ended the first lap. We've gained 6 places, so not too bad a start there. But let's try and gain a couple more before we settle down and have to settle for defending, because our tyres have gone off the cliff. Let's have a look at Magnussen for P12 then. We're going to go down the inside here. And this is going to become something of a favourite overtaking spot for me during this meeting. But you know what? We have moved up into P12, and look at this. Whoever's in P9, I think that might be Ocon, who's back in this little pack here. Meanwhile, we're going to be seeing a replay of something here. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I think it's going to be someone dropping out of the race. Yes, it is. It's Alex Albon. Hard luck for him. He'll be starting the main event from the back. That's rotten luck. You cannot afford things like that in the sprints. They can really put a damper on your entire weekend. Right, Kevin Magnussen is coming back at me now on lap 5. My tyres not feeling their best already. I'm gone to defend Magnussen, but Magnussen's now going to try and go around my outside. Magnussen is going around my outside, but I've not given him the ability to go around there. Shut that one straight down, but he's going to be coming back at me every lap now. And look at this, he's already coming at me up the hill. Look at this, he's squeezing me there. I'm pretty sure that's illegal, but Magnussen has got the move done. He's up into P12, he's going defensive into the ZRS. I'm going to try and go around the outside, but Magnussen has got great grip, great momentum round there, and that is us down another place. So the key point for the rest of the race now is, can I defend Tsunoda? Not by doing that, I can't. That's completely wide, and that's going to allow Yuki a run at me. Is Tsunoda going to take the run at me? I cover the inside. He's not having a run easily, but he's got it done. But can I dive him into turn 1? Yes, I can. Am I going to make the corner? Just about. And we hold on to P13, but Tsunoda wants to try and come back. And now we got Stroll going past. Where did he come from? I never saw Stroll in all this mix. Now Tsunoda's trying to get through again. I'm going down the inside. Got that covered. But Lance Stroll, out of nowhere, just got us both. So while me and Tsunoda were so focused on each other, Stroll just comes up and is like, beat mofos, I'm just coming through and taking P13. So at the end of the sprint, it is going to be P14. If Gasly doesn't come past me on the line here, this is going to be relatively close. This is going to be like the 2019 season. Is Gasly going to get me on the straight? No, he doesn't. We just about hold on to 14.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
That lead at the top of the table has shrunk somewhat today. It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend to push themselves further up the order. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, goodbye. Welcome to where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the final corner, and just 1 year later, Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's time then for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil, is a 2.7-mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. The fastest lap today should have an average speed of around 135 miles per hour, if of course the weather stays dry until the end of the Grand Prix. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Russell, Lance Stroll, Joker, Sainz. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Magnussen, Verstappen, and Nicholas Latifi. Perez, Mick Schumacher, Esteban Ocon, and Gasly. Tsunoda, Vettel, Guan Yu Zhou, they've taken a grid penalty, and Liam Lawson. Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Bottas, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you here with us today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine...
Now, I'm going for an ambitious strategy here. I am going soft, medium, medium. Reason being, this is quite an aerodynamic circuit where tyre grip will be critical. And plus, I feel like it's the best chance of me grabbing a few points if I go soft, medium, medium, because then when everyone's on hard, I can attack on medium. So I feel like that is the best approach to get points. And due to a massive amount of penalties, we have moved up into P6 on the grid, so I'm not too disheartened by that at all. That is a treat. So we're going to start on the soft tyres, and we're going to get rid of those as soon as we can, as early as we can, to make the soft, medium, medium strategy work. And we're just going to hope and pray that everything we're doing is going to be the right thing to grab some points. That is the target. Get points. However many are possible, just get them. Last cars are lining up on the grid now. We're going to have 36 laps of this Brazilian Grand Prix ahead of us. It's going to be a strategic battle. How is this one going to go? Look at Stroll up in P5. It's lights out and away we go for the main event. Lando Norris is in pole, gets away well. Charles Leclerc, I think we'll have to settle in behind him. Meanwhile, we're having a look at Stroll, but Stroll's got us covered. And if anything, there are cars that are coming at me. Magnussen's tried to run me off the road there, and he succeeded in running me off the road, but he then backed out. Now I've got Carlos Sainz alongside me. Is there any point in fighting off this Ferrari? Not really, but he's not got the run just yet, so I'm going to defend that one. Sainz in 7th, we're in P6, and we've pretty much maintained grid position here, but Sainz is getting very eager behind me. And he too is on the soft tyres, so he's probably feeling he can gain a few places. I don't think he'll be too stopping though, I think he'll be doing soft hard, so... Interesting mix of strategies here, as we're now going to have a look at Lance Stroll. No way through there. Now we're going to try and look down the outside again. Stroll has us covered. Stroll doing a great job here. But we're going to have a look again into Yung Xiao, and this time Stroll has to concede the position, and now Sainz can deal with Lance rather than dealing with me. I've got my own race to run here. I'm not on your strategy. Leave me alone. And somehow Leclerc has got into the lead on the end of the first lap. I thought Norris was a shoo-in for that. He seemed to get away really well, but Leclerc just absolutely doing it. Right, here comes Carlos Sainz on me now. Lap 3. Carlos is going to go down the inside. I'm not even going to fight that one, to be fair. That Ferrari is so ridiculously fast. There's just no point in fighting it. Meanwhile, Stroll and Verstappen behind me are now having a little scrap. But I think Verstappen was trying to get past Stroll, but Stroll just did not let that happen. So So the Red Bull not in a good place there at all. And Max down to P8 as I stay with Carlos Sainz quite impressively through this sector. But as the laps go on, of course, he starts building that gap to me by about roughly a second a lap. And if anything, Lance Stroll is starting to come back at me. Now that the soft tyres are dropping off, like I said, they last about 5-6 laps. Then they're just gone. Stroll's going down the inside. I've got the racing line with the centre F. Well, no, I've gone wide, but I've still got the inside for the next part. Stroll just has to back out. I'll go pretty much off the circuit. And now Magnussen is ahead of Stroll, and Magnussen's going to be my concern here. I don't really want to lose too much time fighting these guys now, because my race is going to be later. Oh my days, Lance Stroll was having a look down the inside as I was defending Magnussen. Don't know what Stroll was thinking there. That move was never on. Magnussen now to the outside. I've got him covered. Is he going to try and come back? I don't know. I've gone wide there. That's not going to help anything. Magnussen having a look up the inside again. No way through. Right. Time to make my first stop, and you know what? I'm glad to be getting rid of them softs because they felt like shite.
Alright, we'll be doing one more stop today.
Great stops then, and we're now leaving. We are in P21, but obviously now we've got 2 good stints. We've got fresh tyres, and we've got this stint now to push like crazy and make the difference. That is exactly what we're doing. We are pushing like crazy and making that difference. We've already caught up, or started to significantly catch Zhou Guanyu and Liam Lawson, so we're making significant gains
gap
there.
to the car ahead is 2.9 seconds.
As Mark tells me the gap is 2.9 seconds. Albon then in stone dead last. His race has gone all kinds of wrong. And what's happened to Ocon? He's suddenly dropped back as well. Right, Verstappen once again in the pits. I'm not quite sure what's gone on with Max. He's probably pitting to take on hard, but he'll quite happily go to the end. Right, now I've caught the back of the pack. I've caught Liam Lawson, my teammate, and I hope he doesn't make this one too hard for me, because I'm going after points here. And I know in P19 at the moment, and slightly out of sync with everyone, points might seem like an impossible task, but nothing is going to be impossible in this race. I'm staying positive and hoping that there is a chance it comes to me later. Braking late, and we're going to go round the outside and switch to the inside, and Lawson just gives that one up. Lawson lets us go. Next up is going to be Zhou Guanyu and Nicholas Latifi. Can I do to Zhou Guanyu what I did to Lawson? Nope. Zhou Guanyu will not be frightened off the road by me, and we're going to have to rethink this one. We're starting to move up because some AI are starting to pit now, so we're starting to make some gains here, and we're right on the back of Zhou Guanyu. It's not going to be very easy to get through him though, so we're going to have to wait it out, but I think we've got a run here, and we might be able to have a look down the inside, and well, Zhou doesn't fight that one off. He knows that I've got much better tyres, and onwards I go. Right, P6 now as everyone is pitted. And while everyone's now on hards, this is my chance to make a charge and see where we can end up. I know there is a jostling pack somewhere in the middle, and that is what we're going to try and end up either in the middle of or close to. So that's my hopes for this race, and then we can make gains from there. Currently sitting though in P6, sitting very pretty and quite happy with how this is going so far. Sainz and Ricciardo are 4th and 5th. Right, second stop time, second set of mediums, and that jostling pack that you've just seen has just gone past us, but we're not too far from it, and we're on medium tyres, so we do have an advantage here, and this is going to play out in our favour. And I do believe there are more than 7 cars in that fight, so points are reachable. We've just got to do a lot of racing and a lot of attacking to get them. Our first targets are at the back of this little train, this massive train, and Bottas and Verstappen are the ones on the rear of it, so they're our first victims in this massive train coming up. And you can see them now, they're all together, and I am catching right onto the back. The problem is that it's going to be a DRS train, so overtaking on the straight is going to be very, very difficult. We're going to outbrake Verstappen, and we're going to go around the outside of the centre F, switch to the inside, And Verstappen tried to fight it, but in the end, he had no fight for that. Right, next up are Tsunoda and Bottas. Let's get a cheeky little replay of that because I enjoyed that one. There we go, up into P16. One place closer to the point. Next up is Valtteri Bottas, who, well, he just was caught napping there. Make that P15. And you can see this battle is going all the way to roughly P8, maybe P9. So there are a couple of points up for grabs here if we can get past these. Tsunoda shutting the door in my face, letting me know that if I'm going to come past it, it's not going to be easy. And look at this, we've got Bottas having another look at me now, so I've got to do some defending. There's a big scrap going on in front. I believe that's two Aston Martins of Stroll and Vettel, and a couple of cars have got past this train and are now starting to put their distance on it. I believe one of them is Mick Schumacher. Right, we're going to try and get past Tsunoda down the inside here, and again, Tsunoda caught out, too busy watching Gasly in front. Alonso in 11th, Vettel in 12th, Gasly 13th, Ware in 14th, and there is a car that's dead ahead of them as well, so never say never, this isn't impossible yet. Right, Gasly is my next victim, diving down the inside and again just catching him napping. Right, P10 is visible, it's Stroll, he's got Alonso behind him, he's got Vettel behind him, so points are possible. And Vettel's going down the inside of Alonso, and Alonso's having to back out. I was going to have a look for the gap, but there is no gap there at all. We're going to have to rework this one and rethink this one, and we're going to have to go down the inside of our favourite corner. Are we going to make it here? Down the inside? Yes, we do. We have made it nicely up the inside. There's a yellow flag ahead. Kevin Magnussen is out of the race. You can see him pulled off to the left, and that moves us up another place. So the battle ahead of the Aston Martins is now for P9, so 2 points available to us if we can pass these two. And these two are more concerned with battling each other than they are the cars behind. So we do have a chance here. We have quite a big chance. Down the back straight, here comes Vettel. He's having a look at Stroll. Stroll keeps him covered. Stroll's gone a little bit deep though, and Vettel getting very, very close. And now I'm right behind the pair of them. Vettel is going to be vulnerable to us. I'm going to have a look at my favourite overtaking spot on Sebastian Vettel. And you can see Vettel having to take avoiding action because through I go. Up into 11th, up into 10th, sorry. And Lance Stroll is next. And you know what? This should be relatively straightforward on the main straight. We're going to take a dive up the inside of the centre S. Is this the move done? Yes, it is. Although Stroll's turning in on me a bit there, didn't really see me coming, but we have got P9, and that will be 2 World Championship points if we can hold on to it. Mick Schumacher just in the distance, can we go up another point place maybe? Stroll having a look up the inside there, but that was never going to amount to anything. As we now settle in and pull away, and what a drive this has been to gain positions. Meanwhile, that's Pierre Gasly dropping out of the race. Unfortunate for him, he could have grabbed a point from the scrapping Aston Martins. But for the rest of the race, for us, it's all about trying to catch Mick Schumacher. And are we going to be able to catch him? Well, we did eventually run out of laps before we could catch him. We gained about 8/10, but realistically we were matching his pace. Charles Leclerc takes yet another victory in what has been an insane season for him. But for us, it's going to be P9 and 2 World Championship points, making the strategy work very nicely for us. I will take that.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
That's a spectacular victory then, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
Ferrari strategists, if you're watching, that is how you run a strategy. But no, I'm very pleased with that. We had some good pace and that allowed us to make the strategy work. What also helped is the fact that we had a strong sprint base as well.
So let's
that
discuss
really
that.
helped
Who
get
would
us
you
into
say is a
a
contender
better
for your
position and a
driver of the
position
day?
where we could
Well,
fight.
for me, it's got to be Lewis
And,
Hamilton.
yeah,
The multiple
really
world
happy
champion
to
may
take
be the
2
boring
points
choice at
away
this
from
point,
this
but we
race.
can't argue
It's
that
been
he's
a
a driver
trying season
deserving
in
of his
part, so
reputation.
So then,
the fact that
Ferrari
we
have
could
now
get
moved
these
out of
points,
sight
it
and
means
out
a
of
lot,
reach.
and I'm
It's
hoping
another
now
triumph for the
that we
Italian
can
team
get
as
even
they claim the
another
World
couple of
Constructors'
points
Championship.
from Abu Dhabi,
Meanwhile, good work from
which
Aston
will be
Martin
the
this
final
weekend.
race of
Pushed
season
themselves
1,
further
and
up the
what
order.
a season it's
After an
been.
event like that, who knows what
But
the sport
the
has in
result,
store for us next time?
Leclerc, Norris,
Be sure to
Russell,
join us
Ricciardo,
again as we
Sainz,
continue to bring you
Hamilton,
the
Perez,
latest excitement
Schumacher,
in Formula
myself
1.
and Vettel did get ahead of Stroll. Stroll actually dropped down to P13, so he lost out quite badly in the end. And Max Verstappen managed to get ahead of a couple of cars in that train. But it's still no points for Max in what has been quite a rotten season for him as it transpires. He started off really strong and it looked like he was going to be in the fight, but Leclerc just dominated, and then Russell kind of also took over and ended up being the runner-up in the standings. Mercedes just improved their car, and Red Bull, well, it's just been a nightmare for them, and a nightmare for Verstappen, who's still on 182 points, and Sergio Perez has overtaken him in the championship. But look at the gap Leclerc has. It's unreal the season he's had. This is the season he could have if Ferrari strategy actually worked. But we're up to 61 points, and we're very much safe for P8 in the Constructors now, I would think. Thank you very much for watching this installment of Career Mode. Don't forget to leave a like, hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Until the next time, TTFN guys, ta-ta for now.